to Red Hawk Media's Virtual Academy. This is day 11, and I thought today it'd be great to take a look at how our digital media is alive in the press everywhere, including with the Queen of England. And I'm sure many of you have seen this here, but anytime the Queen wears a green dress, this is what happens. So let's take a look. And this is one of my favorites here, the Queen of Hearts, the Iron Maiden. Had that sweater or sweatshirt when I was in middle school. Tigers, Netflix original. Carlton, she's the Supreme. Maybe by some known as the Punisher. And my addition to this collection, Waldo. Excellent. Just a little bit of digital media here to get it started. Let's go ahead and head on over to today's coursework. Before we start with that, just kind of a couple of quick things here. The first is, remember, Google Meets on from 11 to noon. Check your Schoology, the link is there. You can hop on at any time. A number of people have been tackling issues there. Definitely take a look. Today is the last day of the week for us as well, so it's going to be a great weekend for you to kind of get caught up on stuff. There's not a lot of new assignments that are added today. However, many of you need to get a bunch of stuff in. And I ended yesterday with a clean slate of all of the assignments graded in Schoology, and I noticed today now that there's 53 ungraded things. So people are getting stuff in, which is great. Awesome. We're going to take a look at digital media, start there. And digital media 2, we are working in our game design. And this is the content that we're going to be taking a look at here. Let me check my notes here. There we are. All right, these links are in the description below, and we're talking about the health bar. So yesterday, we went to GameArt2D.com, and we downloaded some objects and different references that we would use on a user interface, a UI. And this is something that would sit over the top, kind of like a HUD. And one of the things that we want to work into our game, because it gives it more functionality, we can collect coins, which is great. That's a nice incentive. But another thing that is very common to a platformer is to have a health bar. So we're going to begin that process, and we're going to throw together a health bar. The first two tutorials are all about getting the assets that you need, and then actually putting together physically the health bar graphically so that you've got the representation. So as it says in Schoology here, Health Bar 8.1, Health Bar 8.2, those are the ones that we're working on. Both of those are in the description. You want to work through those. On Monday, we're going to jump back in with the part 3 of this, and I'm going to give you some code and share that with you so that you don't have to type it this time. A lot of people, got that feeling for what typing code is like, and it can be pretty frustrating. But this will get you started. All right, so 8.1, 8.2, again, this is on Red Hawk Media. It's in the 2D platform game tutorial playlist. So hop in there, take a look at it. And excellent, good. That pretty much covers digital media. Oh, before I go on, I did want to highlight a couple of games here that have been turned in with the coin systems. So we'll start with the first one here and send this over. This is Braden's. This looks great. It's got a great background. It's coming together. It's a nice looking game so far. You can see that he hasn't swapped out his character yet on this particular version, but again, great background, well put together, looking nice. Okay, here's the next one I want to show you by Chloe. All right, and Chloe put this together. She is up to date on everything. She has her coin counter in there and everything. I'm going to go ahead and clear the digital media thing. Okay, and you can see her coin counter works. She's even got the particle effect that is prefabbed when you pick up the coins. That's what that burst of light is. And yeah, everything looks really great. Nice job, Chloe, with that. Okay, and the last one is Grady's. Okay, and Grady, in truth, is in my game design class, so this is a little bit of just review for him, and he gets to experiment with some stuff. But he's got a nicely laid out level here, and you can see his coin counter is all set up. He's got the prefabs in for the particle effect. Everything is looking great. So nice job on that, Grady. Awesome. So if you haven't got that part turned in on Schoology, make sure that you do. These are great examples of how to go about that and what your level should start looking like, or should be looking like at this point. Excellent. So we are going to hop out of there and clear that. And that's it for digital media. That'll take us over to web design. Web design, okay, the only thing for web design is you should be in Dreamweaver. You should be coding. There are 2 people that I need to meet with in regards to their Photoshop mockups. Email me, set up a time, we'll Google Meet, we'll talk through those mockups, get that all put together. Otherwise, everybody is in Dreamweaver and they are actually coding the site. If you check Schoology, the first page, the first draft of the first page is due this Friday, and you're to turn that in on Schoology. Okay, and basically you just need the time to work with the coding. There's no new coding that's there. It's coding that you already know how to do. It's just a matter of getting that all put together and get it looking nice. If you need any resources or assets or anything like that, let me know. I can get those to you because I noticed a lot of you used old Red Hawk Media photos from the original site. If you need any of those, let me know. I can drop those on Schoology. Excellent. All right, that's it for web design, which takes us over to game design. Okay, and in game design here, we are continuing on with building out our games so that this 2D project that we've been working on for all of this 3rd quarter, heading now into the 4th quarter, we want to make it functional, as much like a game as possible. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again. We're putting in the work now on the 2D game because when we get to the 3D game, you'll have a lot of these things in place and you'll be able to go back to them and recycle them into your 3D game, and you'll see that that actually builds itself out a lot quicker in different ways. And you'll want to spend more time on the design in 3D, whereas in the 2D we spent a lot of time on getting the code kind of like instituted and put together. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind here. Here is what you're going to be working on. Let me bring this up. This is Unity, and I was working on this project last night, just going through it again. For functionality's sake, we want to make sure that we've got a working start screen, start menu. Okay, so like if we were to build this out, we were to put it onto the App Store, you would actually have a typical startup screen. Now this is very plain, very plain. I mean, there's nothing to it except the functionality right now. You would take this, and of course you would jazz it up with your own flavor of your game. You'd put your character in there, you'd put stuff like that. But the idea is this. Once you get this all working, you will have a full menu. When you build the game, you will be able to quit out of here. You won't be able to quit out of here while you're in Unity, just so you know. But when you build the game, I promise that will work. The code is all there, and it's all included in the tutorials you're going to look at here. Now, the options thing should take you over to an options menu. And then we've got a volume slider that's in there that we should be able to interact with. Okay, maybe I broke that. Could be that I broke that. I think I broke my slider. Anyway, there should be a slider that's in there. We're going to give that functionality down the road when we talk sound, which is one of the final things that we'll really work on. But you'll have an options menu in there. You will have a slider that will relate to overall game volume, and then we can go back. And of course, we can go to play the game. So now we hop in, and we've got the actual gameplay. We've got a coin system, should have a health system, should have all those things put into our game now. And the other part of this is a pause menu. So when I hit escape, we actually pause the game, stops everything, and we can again quit right out of the game. I'm going to add another button in here, and I think in the tutorial it's included, but a menu button that takes you back to the main menu as well. And then we've got our resume button, which hops right back into the gameplay. And that's what you're going to be creating. You're going to be using Bracky's tutorial. He does a great job on it. I thought about making my own, but to be honest, everything is perfect in there. The one comment that I'm going to make is the tutorial is now 2 years old. At the time when it was made, there is an asset that he refers to called Text Mesh Pro. And it used to be that you had to go to the asset store to download that, but since his tutorial, Unity has acquired that, and it's now included in here. So when he talks about going into the UI and creating a text layer and going to the UI layer, and let me zoom in so you can see this, you'll see that TextMesh Pro by default is now part of Unity. So you won't have to go to the asset store, you won't have to download that. It's already included in your Unity, and that's what's going to make your text look really good. You probably have noticed from some of the other stuff that we've done, like our coin counter, our health, things like that, that the text in Unity does not look good at all. And this gives you a lot more stylized ideas. You can do gradients, drop shadows, bevels, inner shadows, all the kind of stuff that you can do in Photoshop, and it just looks crisper. It's 100 times better. So again, that's TextMesh Pro. It's in Unity. Don't worry about going to the asset store and downloading that package when he talks about that. Can't stress that enough. You won't find it there. So just kind of a heads up. Otherwise, the two tutorials that you're going to refer to are his start menu and his pause menu tutorial. Those are in the description below. Take a look at those, and they're quick to work through. I mean, I think it took me, probably took me about 20 minutes to work through it last night. And the code is super simple. There's like 5 lines of code. It goes really quick. It all makes sense when you start to drag it around. And again, this is really going to help you out when you get to your 3D game. Okay, which then takes me over to video production. Okay, so I'm going to switch this over and send that. All right, video production, our goal is to create a virtual Red Hawk Talk and put that all together. And I've been sharing examples with you. You saw John Krasinski's Some Good News. You saw the example from Lenape High School. They put one together. There was another one, Gladiator Sports, that I shared with you as well. All of those are great examples of what this virtual news show would actually look like. And I just want to encourage you to get your story ideas in. Right now I have several story ideas in, and they're great. They've got, I mean, just thinking about Riley came up with some stuff, and it's all appropriate to Milton. It's all appropriate to this time period, this unique time period, and it's all like positive spins on everything, and it's upbeat, and it's the kind of news that we're looking for, I think, at this time. So get your story ideas in there. The only other thing that I wanted to reference here is I did want to take you over to our spreadsheet that we've been using all year long, and that's our Red Hawk Media spreadsheet. This, of course, is still shared with every one of you, and you can hop in here. And I'm going to be creating another tab down here that is going to be the virtual Red Hawk Talk. So I'll probably take Red Hawk Talk 2 here, duplicate this just like this now, and I'm going to rename this to Virtual Red Hawk Talk. And this would be our 3rd Red Hawk Talk here, okay, of the year. So I'm going to drag that over. Okay, we'll put it on the other side of the 10-day film. So that's in there. We'll be able to come up with some stuff of who's doing what and how this is all going to get put together. I have no problem compiling all of this, but we're going to have to turn stuff in. There is going to be an assignment posted starting for Monday that will require you to get out, record your segment, get it put together, and then get it turned in on Schoology. And I'll have some requirements included with that, what it should look like, what it should have on it, overlays, graphics, all of that kind of stuff that should be included in a typical virtual newscast. Okay, excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Video production, this is tough to do this stuff remotely, but it's definitely doable, and I know you guys can come up with some great material here. And we've got the weekend to kind of think about it and get those story ideas in. I think by midnight tonight is, by midnight Friday is the last time that you can turn those story ideas in. All right, excellent. That takes us back here. And I believe at this point, that takes me over to Digital Media 1. Okay, Digital Media 1, I've been enjoying all of the songs that you've been turning in. Of those 53 ungraded assignments that just miraculously popped up this morning, you guys were a lot of those because people turned in Song 1 and Song 2. I have a couple reminders for you as you are exporting stuff out of GarageBand, things that are easy to forget about, and they definitely wreck the overall quality of your whole project. So I just want to point these out really quick, and then we will be wrapping this bad boy up here for our final day of the week. All right, let me send this over, And let me minimize some stuff here so we can see what's going on. And voila. All right, so we're in GarageBand, and this is my example that I've been using for the last couple days here. The first thing that I would remind people of, which happened a lot, is right up here at the very top. By default, when you start a new project, your metronome is on. I think actually your 4 count is on as well. Take both of those off. There's no reason to have them on. If you export a song with the metronome especially on, you will literally just hear this in the background. And it'll just keep going in 4/4 time, and it'll be super, super annoying. So uncheck that. I've received a lot of songs with that in the background. Okay, and we heard some great songs yesterday. There are some songs that I think are in progress, but this is one of the things that would definitely help. Okay, the other part that I would point out is up in a similar area on the top bar, and that is your overall master volume. Now, your master volume, I got a track from Taylor yesterday, and it sounded like it was bass boosted. Okay, bass boosted is great. A lot of fun, awesome. However, if you bass boost something, you'll notice on the master volume that it will definitely shoot up quite a bit higher on the volume. And anytime we start getting into, let me just put this on loop, and I'll keep this down to a low roar here so that we can kind of hear it, but I can talk over it. And I'm going to show you one other thing that's kind of handy if you want to like adjust things on the fly, and that is your loop feature up here. So if you put on loop here, you'll notice that this yellow bar shows up. Now, some of you might have automatically brought this up, like unknowingly, and it's kind of annoying when it's there and you don't know what it's there for, but the loop will do exactly what its name implies. It just keeps looping the music over and over. So when I play this now, there we go. And when it gets to the end, it's going to continue to loop right over the top of that. Okay, so that's handy if I'm making adjustments like fade-ins, fade-outs, and all that. The other thing that it's really handy for is while that's playing, I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to mute this. I'm going to go over here. It's still playing because of the loop, and I'm going to watch my master volume, and you can see that it gets up into the yellow, which is okay. When it starts to hit the red, that's when we get into trouble. So Taylor sent me that boost-basted track that she had. It was a lot of fun, but the bass was turned up so loud that we were getting into the red, and of course that's where the distortion comes in. It's like when a cheap car with an expensive stereo system drives by and everything is rattling and distorted. That's exactly what it's like when you have too much volume in GarageBand here. Make sure that you're barely getting to the yellow and you'll be in good shape. Now, if you are hitting the red, that's a great chance for you to come in here and say, okay, well, let's say this track is like out of control turned up. Let's say that this one is out of control turned up as well. Okay, now you can see I'm up in the yellow and the red with those tracks when they're playing. So if I back this up, yellow, red. Okay, if I take this one up, and a lot of people had a lot of their tracks really, really loud competing with each other, find that, balance between all of them so that it's not overwhelming. And turn this one up too. And now that we're getting into the yellow and red, that's when you export it, the distortion will come in. So take some time, adjust the volume down so that it's barely getting into the yellow there. That's an acceptable range without adding any kind of distortion in there. If you still have to turn in song 1 or song 2, take care of that. There's no new assignments here that are going to be posted until Monday. Okay, so everyone enjoy their long weekend here, and I really encourage you to take a break from all of the screen stuff. I really encourage you to take some time and enjoy family, okay, but definitely relax. Step away from all the technology. I got into a Google Meet with somebody yesterday, and literally they said, well, I've spent about an hour on homework, and then I'm on Xbox the rest of the day. When I was chatting with them in Google Meet, they're in a dark bedroom, dark rings under the eyes. They look like a zombie, literally. So, do some stuff. It's a nice day out. It's a little bit cooler, but the sun is shining. Get out there. This weekend promises better weather. Get out there. Do some stuff around your house, in your yard. Of course, being safe, observing the quarantine rules and that, social distancing, all of that good stuff. But definitely do some stuff for yourself to keep yourself healthy here. I just kind of worry about, this content and being on a machine 24/7 and looking at a screen that long, it is not healthy for anybody. And in our family, in our house, we have done our best to kind of limit the screen time, because it just sets up a lot of unhealthy patterns. So I'll talk a little bit more about healthy digital lifestyle here on Monday, and some things that we should do before we start the week next week. I'll talk about those as well, because we've been spending a lot of time on these machines, touching these keyboards. We'll talk about some proper care of those items moving forward here. But otherwise, for the weekend, please stay safe, stay healthy, and unwind, relax, and enjoy the time. Okay. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Red Hawk Media's Virtual Academy. And this wraps up day 11. Excellent. Bye.